Hi everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook layout video, and thank you for joining me again today. So this is another layout that I did way back in like February or March when I just had a little bit of time. So again, I'm going to say please forgive me if I don't remember everything that I do. And I'm also going to apologize because I took this idea from somewhere and I don't remember where, and I had all intentions of naming whoever it was. So I apologize that I didn't. But this is the most recent Christmas winter line by Doodlebug. And it had a lot of fun ephemera in it. And whoever I saw basically did a scene along the bottom with a bunch of the ephemera. And I'm also going to apologize if you can hear my neighbor. He's revving up his boat. For some reason, he likes to do that a whole lot and random times, so I do apologize for that. But basically, this layout was a lot of fun. It's different than, the normal layout that I would probably do. You can see basically what I'm doing here is just drawing in hills. So these are going to be like snow hills down below. And I'm flipping the cut part on the other side to add an extra layer. I will say that I do kind of mess up at one point or a couple times, but I easily fix it. Like here, I was hoping to use that piece, and I ended up having to cut it because I wanted it to stick out on the other side, but it didn't work. So it's just a smaller hill in the background. The only thing I really tried to do was make sure that where the hills met in the middle, they were even. And to be honest, looking at it after all the ephemera's added, I don't think it matters. So the other thing that I really liked that this person did was kind of put these, I don't even know what you call those at the moment, but they put them along the top. My layout is not like theirs exactly. I do kind of try to change things up a little bit, so I'm not copying them completely. But these are ephemera pieces that I would probably not normally be able to use. So to do this layout and get these pieces used was a lot of fun. These are Christmas photos from 2020, by the way, where it was just us for Christmas. So there wasn't a lot of pictures either. So I thought I would go ahead and this would be a perfect layout for them. I am adding a tiny bit of my gray close to my heart ink to the edges of the snow, just to kind of where they overlap each other, to give them a little bit of dimension so you can tell where they overlap. I am going to add foam adhesive behind different things, different layers of foam adhesive. This string is something that I'm going to add. This is just basically crochet twine. And I am adding 2 little holes into these little trolleys or whatever you call those. And that way I can make it look like they are hanging from that, or, going across wherever they're going to go. And this one here on the left is going to give me a little bit of trouble because I glued down the pictures before really thinking about where I placed that one. And so it's going to give me a little bit of troubles, but I end up figuring it out. And I'm not gluing down that twine. I'm just basically taking it on the opposite side of the page and wrapping it around. And then I'm going to loop it. I'm going to loop, I think 3, maybe 4, I guess 2 per page, to make it look like there's a bunch. I think only 2 of the strings have one of these little trolley things on it. Ski lifts, maybe that's what they're called, but they're not the same as ski lifts, are they? But I think that's kind of the intention. But I'm going to take, I kind of wish I would have done this before adding my photos, but my photos were more important, and I knew that there was only so much room at the top. So I decided to go ahead and do the photos first. And you can see there that I finally just decided to go ahead and cut off Santa, and you could see the reindeer because Santa is going to be other places. I know, don't hate me, Santa. Just teasing. So Santa's going to be other places on the layouts, and so I really like how he's coming out from behind the photo. I didn't really want them coming off from the side of the layout. I don't really know why at the time, but that was kind of what I was thinking. So I am, again, using different adhesive widths. There is quite a few layers on this layout, but again, I really love it. Here's the second string I'm going to add for this layout. It is going to go behind the 4x6 photo, but nothing's going to hang on it. I didn't want there to just be two, strings, one on the very left page and one on the very right page. So I'm going for just making it look like there's more of those strings that would be lifting the things up. And you might notice that where I originally had that one with the reindeer and Santa in it, there is a tear by where the reindeer is now. But I don't care. I'm going to end up covering that up so you can see that later. I did add a tiny bit of glue behind the photo to help kind of hold that string down in place so it would keep not only its shape, but help that photo stay down since this twine has very little thickness to it, so I'm not worried about it really popping things up. I just wanted to make sure it kind of stayed in place. And so I'm going to glue that one down. This is a very long process video. This twine I decided to go ahead and glue down. It's very simple to glue down string or twine of any kind. Just take your glue and go along it. I wasn't really worried, but I wanted to keep its shape as well and have it meet so that it only looks like one when the two pages are together. It doesn't look like two. So that's why I glued that one down, and I kind of wanted to make sure it went in the direction that I wanted it to go. And then same thing with those two other little ski lift pieces on the very right hand side. I'm going to use a very tiny hole punch. This hole punch that I use is very similar to the crocodile, but I had a crocodile and I just wasn't using it for brads or eyelets or anything anymore. And I found that I wanted different sizes holes and to be able to go in further with where I put the holes, and I just like these because these two were a little less bulky. So this the blue one that I have to put the holes in, it does a really tiny hole, and then I have another one that does a little bit bigger than a regular sized hole, and then I just have a regular hole punch. But they do really good as far as they can still cut through like chipboard and things like that. So there's the blue hole punch that I'm talking about. This one couldn't exactly reach as far in, and you can change the amount that those reach in. I want to say they're still We Are Memory Keepers, so in case you're interested. And then I'm basically doing the same thing with these ski lifts. I'm just adding in the string to make it look like something's carrying it along. For the very background page, I don't think you can see, I don't know how well, I can't see it anyway. I did decide, I went through a lot of the papers that I had, and I wanted something not white, first of all. They had a great white one in the collection that I could have used, but it just would have been too much white. So I went through my petite prints that I have from Doodlebug, and I found this blue one, and it matches pretty good. I say by the end, it's a good color. It was a little more on the teal side than I would think I was originally hoping for, but that's okay. But what it does, it's their wood grain one. So if you look at it, it does have that wood grain texture in the back. But I actually kind of liked that and chose that because to me that can resemble wind. That was my thinking with that one. So if you are wondering what or why I chose the background papers that I did, that is the reason. So again, here I'm working with my little hills. I think I forgot to glue this one down. The very back hill is being glued down flat to the page. And then the other hills Well, the next tail is pretty big and it has foam adhesive underneath it. And then I am going to end up, because I want to add more ephemera pieces, I am going to end up adding a third hill, which again has the same adhesive. I don't double up on anything. I think the only time I double up on the adhesive is when I am maybe adding an ephemera piece that goes over twice to, two of the hills and might need that extra dimension. Um, totally messed up with however I put this down. I don't remember why, but I think I forgot to put it with foam is what I needed to do with that. But so now I'm going to start with playing around with the ephemera pieces. And this was another really great way to use up, I've mentioned in a few videos, their ephemera seems to be getting very large. So this was doing a scene of some sort is a really good way to use up a lot of those bigger pieces. Um, plus these houses, I guess, are probably something that I would not normally use. They're super cute. I do have a Christmas village, but I think I've already done a layout about my Christmas village and I don't feel the need to do multiple of them. So I I think that if you had a Christmas village or something of the sort, or your town decorates, or you have a street that you visit with lights, that would be great for these houses. But for me, and they're kind of neat too because they look like they're like a coffee house and a Santa's workshop. I'm looking at my layout now to see, and the Santa stables. So it was kind of fun making this little scene. And when I have the houses down there where like the reindeer stable is, and uh, that other house that's kind of in the front, that red house is kind of the coffee house, I believe. This is where it's not going to be long before I realize, okay, I definitely need a third snowbank because I wanted to, add more pieces down below, and make it look like there was more snow. So I'm just going through. I contemplated whether or not I should add more than one Santa, but in the end, I kind of thought, you know what, I really don't care because I like how it looks with the Santas that I'm using. A Santa ice skating and a Santa, well, I would probably use the Santa on the sleigh on a different layout, but he looks really good there because he's going along the hill. And the Santa on the ice skates on the very right-hand page, I don't know, I kind of really liked it. And I don't think, because they're not right next to each other, I think that changes how it looks as well. The other thing I wanted to add a bunch of was the Christmas trees. I thought they were really good at bringing that green color around and breaking up, all the blues and whites and reds. So, plus, again, I know that I'm not following exactly what this other person did, but I am doing something very similar. And when you're doing this, the reason for adding the foam dimension is to kind of make it look like things are in the foreground and other things are way in the background. So like where those mountains are, you can tell that they look further away because they're flat to the page behind that very back hill. And the North Pole sign that I just put by that house, I popped up on foam. The house is flat to that second hill layer, but the North Pole sign is put with dimension to kind of make it look like it's closer to us than the house is. So that's just something to keep in mind when you are doing something like this. That house, that coffee shop that I just glued down, I had to add foam adhesive behind just the top because it sticks over that layer, but it also is flat to that second snowbank. So because it's flat to the second snowbank, but popped up from where the third one is, it looks like it's closer not only from that snowbank, but from the mountains. So I hope what I'm saying is making sense. So just try to think, and even if you don't add any foam dimension, just where you place things, to make them look like the Yeti guy now, he is in front of the house. I did add this second mountain with foam tape, but it still looks like it's, I did that so it could make it look like the other mountain was further away. So that is why I did that. But again, here is Santa Claus, and I'm popping him up on some foam tape because he is technically being glued to the very back layer, but I want him to look like he's ice skating on that second snowbank. So if I put him flat to that back layer, he wouldn't look like he was sledding on the same, as at least not as well. Um, I hope everything that I'm saying is making sense to you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. This was a lot of fun to do. You could do this with so many different collections, maybe not so many. It would have to be something like Doodlebug that has, these kind of packs with different ephemera. But I mean, flowers, you could do a field of flowers. There's a lot of things you could do. You could die cut your own shapes and do it that way as well if you are not a Doodlebug fan. So again, same thing here. I am going to put this house down, but I want it to look like it's sitting on the second snowbank. I have not added the third snowbank on this side yet. But I'm just adding foam adhesive where it's going off and then just gluing it flat to the second snowbank. And those mountains I did glue down flat to the page. And this little tiny piece of house, I wanted a little more room where it was on the left-hand page. So that is why I ended up cutting a sliver off. And yeah, the pages won't sit right next to each other in the album, but it really doesn't bother me at all because I don't think anybody's going to focus on that. So here I'm going to cut, again, another piece of white cardstock. I'm just using 8.5 by 11, I believe. I don't think I used my 12 by 12, but oh yeah, you know what? I did use my 12 by 12 because it had to span the entire 12 inches. If I would have used the 8.5 and 11, it wouldn't have made it. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep gluing things down on this page and add this snowbank. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that it matches up with the snowbank on the left-hand page so it doesn't look really wonky. And I think, honestly, I end up gluing it down and it does not match actually in the long run. But again, there's going to be a little space between the two pages in my album. So I probably said this a couple times now. It's hard to remember everything you talk about when doing voiceovers, but I had a lot of fun making this layout. Just using up these ephemeras, I think I did a scene kind of like this, but a little different with one of their Easter collections this last year or at some point. And it was a lot of fun. So I might have to try to remember to do this a little more often. If I had to change anything, I might try to, I don't know, I think maybe the photo placement maybe is something I would change with this type of layout. Different, I don't know. I had to make all of these photos fit because I didn't want to have multiple Christmas morning pictures, and I just wanted to do this layout. So these are the pictures I picked. But yeah, I might have to think about that. Let's see. I'm working with their Disney collection now, which really doesn't have anything to do this with, but we'll have to see what else they come out with and do some more scenes. I think, let me know below if you like the scenes like this, if this is something you'd like to see more of on occasion. It's not something I could do all the time because I think as much fun as it is, it would also have the possibility of getting, kind of boring if you did it all the time. But let me know what you think of it below. I would really love to hear everybody's comments. And sorry that if you're kind of getting bored of watching me glue everything down, but I kind of want you guys to see what I add straight to the layers and what I add dimension to, because again, it can help you make it look like things are closer and further away. So if you look at the layout now, you can really tell that reindeer stable looks quite closer than the mountains, like as if you were looking at a real picture. And also, if you are a single page scrapbooker or an 8.5 by 11, you could still do the exact same thing and just use less supplies or smaller ones if you wanted. So um, I like kind of how it's like Santa's workshop. I guess I didn't realize that until, just a few minutes ago doing this voiceover, but um, yeah, there's not a whole lot more. What I do come back with, because they have a lot of really fun shaped sprinkles and different items like that, uh, I end up adding a bunch of like little snowflakes around. They have like a sheet. Oh, sorry about that. They have a sheet of um, just like snowflake ones. So I definitely add the snowflakes around. I did add a snowflake by that reindeer that's in the ski lift thing, so that would cover up where I tore the paper a little bit. And I think the biggest thing I struggled with on this layout was the title. And I'm not super crazy about the title. It's this Merry Christmas sticker. It's not my favorite, but it works. And so I don't hate it. I like it actually in the video. So yeah, so that stays there. And then they have these little animal guys. I don't know, like all these snow animals. And I really wanted to use that little billy goat because I think that billy goat is super adorable. Um, if you remember the book Three Billy Goats Gruff or something like that we read to our kids? That would be fun. If you had a picture of that or something, or a younger kid, you could use these billy goats for that. That would be really fun. I don't think I have any pictures of that, but I know my mom used to read that to my daughter. But anyways, so I did add a few of these animals and snowmen around. I added this little red bird into the tree. I love that. That was probably my favorite of the whole layout, but I tried, because they were smaller, putting them back a little further. Like that billy goat looks like he would actually be on that mountain. Yes, he's a little bigger than obviously he would be, but I don't know. I just kind of had fun playing around and adding these little guys on there, and didn't really care if they threw off the whole reality of the scene, if that makes any sense. Because they were a lot of fun to play with. So I actually really liked the penguins. They're super cute as well. I have that left spot where the penguin is, and he is kind of sitting there for now. I am going to change him because I just felt like, I don't know, it felt like it needed something a little more. So I'm going to add another one of these really cute billy goats because they, like I said, they're super adorable. The last few things that I add is I do just take an old thicker set. It's a glitter thicker set, and I add the year 2020 down by the Yeti guy. It is one with glitter all over it and the loose type of glitter. Um, I don't even know if they sell that anymore. So, and then I also come back and I do add a couple strips of journaling. I knew that's a little bit why I left that space down below, like basically under the reindeer stables. I don't know if the picture has the journaling on it or not, the final shots at the end, but I do add just a few strips of journaling to kind of say, hey, what it was, what they got. So here's the snowflakes that I also mentioned that I'm just kind of adding around. And I wanted to add these two around the sky quite a bit because there was so much going on down below, but not as much going on up above, that I think this kind of helped fill in. It made my page more busy and it felt like it needed to be more busy. I'm just kidding, by the way. Um, yeah, so I add those around. And then I'm trying to look here. I don't know, the tree there that you can see, I don't know if I did Nuvo drops or if I think I added Nuvo drops over all the colored bulbs on the trees. So I hope you guys like this layout. Let me know what you think of it below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that you had to watch a bunch of gluing down, but I think it was worth it. So have a great day, everyone. Bye.